Caitlin Clark is with the injured crew. She's over here with the injured crew.
Have you noticed that Caitlin Clark is not playing since July 15th?
Her coach stepped on her ankle. No, man, this season cursed. This season's cursed.
Caitlin Clark has suffered a mild bone bruise to her left ankle, and she suffered this injury.
The Caitlin Clark injury situation is officially a mess because not only is there not more clarity, there's more confusion.
The Indiana Fever have got themselves a problem. They got themselves a real problem after, of course, we found out that Caitlin Clark suffered yet another injury.
Just moments ago, Indiana Fever fired Caitlin Clark after a devastating injury, and her season has fallen into chaos, disappointment, and heartbreak.
Caitlin Clark has suffered a mild bone bruise to her left ankle, and she suffered this injury on August 7th. Fans have been highly anticipating Caitlin Clark's return to the court. Will she come back?
If you stand with Caitlin Clark Drop CC22 in the comments below, have you noticed that Caitlin Clark hasn't played since July 15th? She was working on recovering from a groin injury, and while doing that, she hurt her ankle.
Have you noticed that Caitlin Clark is not playing since July 15th? Well, she was rehabbing her groin, which was hurt while rehabbing her groin, and now she suffered an ankle injury while rehabbing the groin.
Indiana coach Stephanie White told reporters on Sunday that she hopes Clark returns before the regular season ends. But the truth is simple. If you can't practice, you can't play.
Indiana coach Stephanie White told reporters Sunday that she hopes Clark gets back before the end of the regular season. But the fact of the matter is, the coach is right.
The biggest update coming from the Indiana Fever is that Caitlin Clark has a mild bone bruise on her left ankle, which happened on August 7th. Fans were waiting for her big return to the court, but now they've learned she picked up another injury while trying to get back.
Natasha Howard saying, "See you soon, Cece." Now it's like, wait and see. And there's further information coming out that Clark suffered a bit of an ankle injury in the midst of her recovery process. Did that hinder her return? One reporter saying yes, another reporter is saying no.
The strange part about this is how it was reported. More news came out saying Clark had a small ankle injury during her recovery. Did that delay her return? One reporter said yes, another said no. At the end of the day, fans just want to know if the team's biggest star will return this season or not. And she has now been out for 5 weeks.
Bottom line is, we need to know a little bit more. We don't need Caitlin Clark's in-depth medical report, but it's fair for fans to wonder if the Fever and the league's biggest star is going to return to the floor this season or what the chances are. And she's been out of action for 5 weeks, so it's not as if some patience hasn't been expressed.
Caitlin Clark is stuck with the injured players group, and that's not good. At practice, she's off to the side with the other players who can't play. And here's the thing, fans didn't even know she had an ankle injury.
That is not ideal. That is not ideal. She's over at the side at practice with the injured players. And maybe we're looking too far into this. And to be honest, like, this is something a lot of people are like, oh, why are we having all these conspiracies? Man, it turns out she had an ankle injury that we didn't know about. Like, we have to take that into account.
If she rolled her ankle, it shouldn't take 2 weeks for people to find out. That's pretty clear. Now, out of nowhere, we hear Clark has been dealing with an ankle problem.
So we have to go and put on our Inspector Gadget hat, and we got to figure this out. We got to become a detective. We got to try to become detectives and decipher anything, because whatever about not hearing from the team, the fact that they've lied about an injury means what the hell is going on?
Stephanie White gave no update, and then suddenly news came out that she rolled her ankle. So for the last 2 weeks, she had this injury and no one said anything.
I don't know what this is all about, because apparently Caitlin Clark has now picked up an ankle injury. Like, what's going on? If you guys agree, obviously Stephanie White was like, no update on Caitlin Clark, and then randomly we hear that Caitlin Clark has like rolled her ankle.
It feels like the Fever were hiding it. The Indiana Fever now have a major problem after news broke that Caitlin Clark got hurt again.
Suddenly, she has had an ankle injury for the last 2 weeks, and we've heard nothing. We've heard nothing. Like, by the way, 2 weeks ago, during the ankle injury, they were saying like, okay, yeah. During this time, it was, yeah, she's full court. She's gone back to full court sprinting.
This time during the Phoenix Mercury game 2 weeks ago,
Caitlin Clark has suffered a mild bone bruise to her left ankle, and she suffered this injury on August 7th.
This latest injury makes the team look unprepared and unprofessional with how they've handled it. It's turned into a bad situation for their image. The Fever were counting on Clark to return, but now it looks less likely because of her ankle issue.
Now, this was news to a lot of fans because this was just reported a couple days ago. Fans have been highly anticipating Caitlin Clark's return to the court. Will she come back this season? When will she come back this season? And a lot of fans have been so confused by the reporting. Like, what is actually going on with Caitlin Clark?
Fans who were full of excitement about her comeback are now left upset and confused with yet another setback. Reports are now saying that Caitlin Clark's season could be finished after this newest injury update. The Fever really needed her for their playoff run, but without her, their chances look weak.
Should have been disclosed to the fan base. You've had a fan base that's been setting back for, I would guess, at least 2 weeks, highly anticipating Caitlin Clark's return. I suspect the Indiana Fever completely understand that and know that.
What was supposed to be a year of progress has turned into a season full of injuries and disappointment for both Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever. He is out there with the Indiana Fever trainers.
Hopped in the old DeLorean, set the date to August 7th, 2025, and injured her ankle. Oh, man. Oh, man. But fortunately enough for us, 13 days later, after the Fever front office feels some heat from the dark side, asking questions about what's going on with Caitlin Clark's injury. How come we haven't seen?
Working on his knee, working on his groin, working on his ankle, just trying to figure it out. Come on, Caitlin, you can do it. They're trying everything, medicines, shots, whatever it takes to get her back on the court. But it's just been setback after setback.
He is out there with the Indiana Fever training staff. He's working on the knee, working on the groin, working on the ankle, trying to figure out, come on, Caitlin, come on, you can do it. Come back. Toradol, anyone? Anything? Inflammatories? We got you. Shots? We're in. Future health? We're out.
A Fever spokesperson said that after she got a bone bruise in her left ankle, there is no set timeline or clear return date. They repeated the same message. Caitlin will get as much time as she needs so she can come back fully healthy. Every day she's working hard to do that, but fans are left confused because the reports haven't been clear.
She said, sources confirmed to me that Caitlin Clark suffered a very mild bone bruise in her left ankle on August 7th. Scott Agnes was the first to report this. Source also stresses that this tweaked ankle does not affect her return timeline. Sans ankle injury, she would still be out rehabbing her groin.
The biggest change I've noticed is how people talk about her return. At first, it was about when Clark would be back on the court. Now it feels more like, let's wait and hope. That shift in tone makes people wonder if the ankle really is what's slowing her return. The fact is, she had an ankle injury we didn't even know about.
This is something a lot of people are like, oh, why are we having all these conspiracies? Man, it turns out she had an ankle injury that we didn't know about. Like, we have to take that into account. Like, nothing about this is normal. So we have to go and put on our Inspector Gadget hat, and we got to figure this out. We got to become a detective. We got to try to become detectives and decipher anything, because whatever about not hearing from the team, the fact that they've lied about an injury means what the hell is going on?
If Caitlin Clark rolls her ankle, that kind of news should be out right away. Fans pay to watch her, and it shouldn't take 2 weeks for that kind of update. That delay is exactly why many fans don't trust the reporting anymore.
She was day to day. She got injured, I don't know the exact date, but let's just say she got injured July the 14th. It was in and around that date. On July the 15th, she was listed as questionable. It's the 20th of August, and now we've got a random injury being reported from 2 weeks ago. Like, what is going on?
Caitlin Clark was first injured around July 14th and then listed as questionable on July 15th. Now, suddenly in late August, we hear about an ankle injury from 2 weeks ago. The timing doesn't add up, and the announcement feels more like a distraction than a clear update.
The Indiana Fever's got $1 billion entity on their team. $1 billion damn dollars. And they're a bunch of clowns, a bunch of bozos. You guys look completely incompetent and unprofessional. The way this has been handled, oh, it's a joke. It's a joke. Look, and look, they can't say anything about conspiracy theories. You're complicit in creating them because you won't be open and you won't be honest.
The Fever have a star worth millions, but the way they've managed her injuries is being called a joke. It looks unprofessional, and now even conspiracy theories are spreading because the August 7th ankle injury was kept quiet for weeks. Fans don't know what to believe at this point.
You've got people buying future tickets, I'm sure, paying up, probably paying above face value. They've done it all year long. Have paid above face value for tickets. And we find out today that Caitlin Clark had another injury nearly 2 weeks ago, 13 days ago, in fact. I saw this and I was floored.
When people found out that Caitlin Clark's ankle injury actually happened on August 7th, but wasn't reported until much later, it shocked everyone. Why was it kept quiet? Fans feel like they're not being told the truth, and now people are wondering if this setback has completely changed her return schedule.
Indiana Fever reporters, beat writers, pawns, whatever you want to call them, they are suddenly reporting an August 7th ankle injury. Interesting, because Caitlin Clark is the most covered player the WNBA has ever seen. So if she had an injury or tweaked something or hurt something almost 2 weeks ago, you probably think we would have heard about it by now, right? Right.
The Fever later confirmed that Caitlin Clark did suffer a bone bruise on August 7th, but they didn't make it public until weeks later. That late update left fans upset and confused, especially since her absence is tied to the team's struggles.
There has been a lot of talk about this Indiana Fever. Now keep in mind, they're trying to make the playoffs for the second year in a row, but they've got a ton of injuries. They are 6th in the WNBA. The Indiana Fever right now are ranked 6th, and that's without Caitlin Clark for the past over a month. That's with the fact that they've lost 4 guards, including Sophie Cunningham, who's out for the year.
Keeping it hidden only adds more doubt about her real condition. They've already lost 4 guards, including Sophie Cunningham, who's out for the whole year. And with Caitlin Clark still sitting out, the Fever are barely hanging on to a playoff spot.
What happened here? So as you can see, Caitlin Clark's on the sideline and she was up cheering for her team. And you can see that one of the coaches steps we thought was on her foot. We can't see the lower half of this camera angle, but she steps on something.
The team is scrambling, trying whatever they can to keep going without their star player. As seen recently, Caitlin Clark was on the sideline cheering for her team when one of the coaches accidentally stepped on her foot. Her reaction was instant. She pulled her foot back in pain. Fans watching felt like this was just another strange setback.
And, you know, some of these things you hear rumblings about, and you don't know exactly what's going on. But again,
the biggest change now is hope turning into a wait-and-see attitude. And then, right when things look steady, this happens. Clark is slowly being brought back step by step, but even a small ankle tweak during that process throws everything off. At this point, even the tiniest setback feels huge. Fans just want to see Caitlin Clark back on the court. The lack of clear updates about her ankle and the image of her stuck on the sidelines with the injured group have only made people more frustrated.
Let's be honest, fans just want to see Caitlin back on the floor at this stage. Like, at least she's in good spirits. That's the only thing, is she's in good spirits. And I think if Caitlin Clark was done for the season officially, she wouldn't be in good spirits. But this is the last real practice the Fever have for the...
For many, this season feels cursed. Her coach stepping on her ankle just makes things worse. It really feels like a cursed season when an injury actually gets worse because of a coach's accident. Every time Clark takes a step forward, something strange seems to pull her back again.
The coach stepped on her ankle. No, man, this season cursed. This season's cursed. Like, it's not on the coach. This is like when, was it Chris Finch blew out his patella for someone running into him on the sideline in the game? Like, this season is cursed. This season's cursed. Like, an injury actually being aggravated by a fucking coach stepping on it.
Now, conspiracy theories can't just be brushed off because each new detail makes things look worse. A coach accidentally hurting the team's biggest star only makes this season feel like a complete nightmare for the Fever.
And they're a bunch of clowns, a bunch of bozos. You guys look completely incompetent and unprofessional. The way this has been handled, oh, it's a joke.
The clip of a coach stepping on Clark's ankle spread quickly across social media, and fans called it unbelievable. Losing your star player to injuries is bad enough, but having a coach add to the problem makes the whole season look like a joke. Some fans now call this the season from hell.
And we find out today that Caitlin Clark had another injury nearly 2 weeks ago, 13 days ago, in fact. I saw this and I was floored. And I've tried to take a step back and not do the Indiana Fever is complacent and complicit and they're trying to hide something and blah, 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 blah. All bets are off now.
Caitlin Clark was expected to carry the Fever, but instead her injuries, delays, and random accidents have left the team with no answers. Every new report feels like yet another hit.
What were the odds that the Indiana Fever would miss the playoffs prior to this season taking place? Just there's so much fishiness going on in this league, and you just sniff around a little bit, you can tell. What is the payout for somebody who bet, oh, the Indiana Fever with Caitlin Clark, with a new head coach, with all these new additions? What's the payout if they just, surprise, miss the playoff?
Come on, Caitlin, just get back out there for someone, for something. But with each day that passes, it looks less and less likely we'll see her on the court again this season.
And once the situation is to the point of odd with a superstar like Clark, questions are going to be asked. Did she suffer a setback?
Knee, working on the groin, working on the ankle, trying to figure out, come on, Caitlin, come on, you can do it.
She is still not doing team practices. And so with every day that goes by, it gets less and less likely that we will see her back on the court.
It's just getting ridiculous. It's just getting ridiculous. Some of these injuries. And look, I don't think she's back this season. I don't think she comes back. I think she's done.
Did she have a setback? Maybe. Maybe not. Especially with this ankle issue. I don't think she's coming back this season. It feels like she's done.
There has been a lot of talk about this Indiana Fever. Now, keep in mind, they're trying to make the playoffs for the second year in a row, but they've got a ton of injuries. They are 6th in the WNBA. The Indiana Fever right now are ranked 6th, and that's without Caitlin Clark for the past over a month. That's with the fact that they've lost 4 guards, including Sophie Cunningham, who's out for the year.
This has become a nightmare season for the Fever. Clark's season might be finished, but the story isn't. Stay tuned for more updates, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and share to keep the conversation going. Thanks for watching.